Good Thursday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles, my addictions, my animals, my kid, my property, all Thursday morning. Thanks for tuning to my channel. Appreciate those who do watch me and subscribe, and anybody out there new, hey, hit the subscribe button. I don't really say that much for the record. And yeah, so it's Thursday. Wow. You know, as you progress in life, who here that is of 60 years old, that's my age, just doesn't feel like the days just, the days just pass so quickly. I mean, as you progress, I think the days and the time goes faster. What is that all about, right? I mean, the days just run together. This morning, sincerely, I was like, is today Wednesday? Now it's Thursday. You know, something I haven't talked about here before is I talked a while back about getting off all my vitamins and supplements. I got to tell you what, ever since I've gotten rid of my daily routine of popping pills every day, my body feels so much better. I mean, I am not embellishing here. My body feels so much better. I mean, I was popping vitamins and supplements like you can't believe for the last 20, 30 years. And especially the last 10. And oh my gosh, my body felt like I was 80 years old. So anybody out there watching my channel, I know some people have kind of inquired about that. I can honestly tell you, I don't take any vitamins, supplements, anything anymore. And I feel healthier now than I felt in the last, really, 10 years. I don't have the aches and pains and all the other stuff that I used to have. So what is it about all these supplements that brainwash you to think that if you don't take them, you're doomed, right? Isn't that the program? You're doomed. Is that the word of the day? Doomed? Are we doomed if you don't take your supplements and all your pills? So, wow. I mean, for my child, my kid, the Ram 2500, my kid got excited about cleaning up her truck. Really, the real story is she scratched the heck out of the truck, and it was really bugging her. Boy, I wonder where she got that problem in life. Is it her truck had an imperfection in it, and that really bugged her. So, yesterday, she spent from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until close to 8 o'clock at night just going over this whole truck and really cleaning it up. And she did a great job. These big trucks are just so much work. And we buffed out that scratch. Yesterday morning, if you watched my video, I showed you how she scratched the truck. And I showed her how to run the buffer wheel. And she buffed out that scratch. So come on, puppies. Yeah, and then for me, I spent a lot of time doing my battery tender videos to show people how to put battery tenders on your motorcycles. Go ahead. Every bike has a battery, but every bike has a different location for the battery. So yesterday evening, I got motivated, and I finally now have every one of my motorcycles on a battery tender. Yes, that's pretty cool. Every one of them now has that little cable that comes off the battery and enables you to charge the battery so the vehicle doesn't die on you. And the Honda Glowwing is so great. I didn't realize it'd be as easy as it is. This left panel, you just pop down your side bag, and you have access to this side panel, and you can get into the bike, and the battery's right there with the terminals right there facing you. And in this Honda CB650, you just pop off the seat, and you're literally right there to hook the battery tender. So every one of my motorcycles now is on the battery program. And what's interesting is, does this thing come back to life? I'm trying to recharge that battery before I have to go out and buy another battery. 2022 bike, when I bought the bike, only had 200 miles on it. This bike's only a year old, and the battery be dead? Wow. I got hair, got my kid's hair floating around on me or something. So, anyways, I did some how-to videos. I got to figure out how to do all the Honda accessories on CB650. Here's my Indian rear passenger pegs that I need to put on that bike. Oh, it's just always projects, which I enjoy. Oh, I got to put my highway pegs on my Harley. I bought those. I forgot to put those on, the new CVO. And people are saying I really should put the tuner on it. You know what? That bike just runs so well. as it is, I think it runs fine. One guy, he's claiming he put these chrome works on, and he feels like the low end torque has disappeared. And then I've got people, you get the people out there, oh, you made a huge mistake buying a Harley. The doom and gloom. The doom and gloom. What a huge mistake buying a Harley. And those things are just borderline junk. The bags are flimsy. The bike isn't what you think it is. I'm like, yeah, right. But then it's not a Harley. So many ways. If that Harley is so refined to be like a Honda Goldwing, it's not a Harley anymore. I mean, then why would people buy the Harley? So to me, it's like there's a very fine line there of you making of Harley Davidson going beyond the limits of creating a BMW motorcycle. All right, let's get up here for the doom and gloom. The doom and gloom conversations, right? Yesterday was the chaos conversation. Some people watch my channel. It's like, oh, all the negative content. Well, I don't know if it's all negative. It's just all about talking the state of times. Isn't that what it's all about? Let's just talk about what's going on. A little warmer this morning. And I get my phone put down here. Hey, I got my hog membership card. Hey, isn't that nice? Yeah, right. Let's see here. All right, got that there. It's all dark in here, isn't it? Yeah, because it's an overcast day. That's why I got the Indian hat. Indian behind every tree is what my dad used to tell me. Remember those stories? Yeah, well, if you're Vladimir Putin, you know how to take care of the Indians. Because what happened to Wagner's top commander? Yeah, who didn't? This just cracks me up about how us humans operate. So you're a guy that's trying to take out a former KGB agent named Putin, and you failed. Your mission is failed for the coup or whatever you want to call it to overthrow Putin, and then you think that you're not going to have retribution to that. I mean, how freaking stupid are you? Yeah, if anybody's following the news, now that the guy was shot out of the sky in a private jet, and he's dead this morning, supposedly. I mean, you could always say there's theories it was a setup by him to make it look like he died, but it really wasn't him. But at the same time, the news is saying, yeah, he's dead. And so once again, you just think that guy was doomed. I mean, come on. I would look at that guy. If I was close to that individual, which you wouldn't want to be, the running joke is, wonder how many people were invited on the plane to go for a plane ride. What other crucial individuals that surrounded him that supported that overthrow that didn't happen. And wow, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I would have told that guy, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. There's no way that this Putin man is not going to terminate you. You try to terminate him, he'll make sure that the job is completed that you didn't complete on him. So, yeah, the doom and gloom. Yeah, that's just something. I just think to myself, there's so many YouTubers out there. I just am blown away on how many YouTubers have such huge subscriber base that their majority of their content every day is doom and gloom. I mean, is that really what drives us to get out of bed in the morning, is just to focus on all the negativity? I mean, for the most part, it is, because people turn on the news every day. I mean, the news drives the negativity, the doom and gloom. I mean, come on. I mean, is that major? Look at the focal point of what is the news about every day. It's borderline one guy, which last night, if you watched the GOP primaries to see what's going on, that's what made me think we're doomed. I'm not lying. That is what made me think we're doomed. After watching that, and then after hearing how Trump sidetracked off the Tucker Carlson on X to do his personal interview, not a debate, basically an interview, and I watched a little bit of that, but then I went to the GOP side and watched that, and I just went to, it was kind of all over. I was like, we're doomed. If you're a Republican person right now, yeah, so we're this country. Sadly, it's probably doomed at what's going on. So let's kind of keep it the car, motorcycle theme, all that stuff. And here's what's classic, what's going on. I mean, we'll use the semiconductor building capability, which the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, it's a TMSC, I believe. Those guys are now in an argument in Arizona about a brand new facility they're bringing to this country. And I just think, wow. And keep in mind, the big challenge, I mean, this is the story for us auto enthusiasts, that during the pandemic, you were not going to get a car because we didn't have enough semiconductor chips to put in these cars that have so much technology in them. So, voila, whatever. My daughter says it's not voila, it's voila. I'm like, I don't know. Is it whatever? Okay, so here's the thing. This city administration has lured in foreign competition to our country to start building semiconductors, as I've talked about. The IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, some people are probably sick of hearing that word, the AKA, the New Green Deal, but there's a $53 billion government entitlement package that is luring these semiconductor manufacturers back or coming to our country to compete in the world to try to get the semiconductor manufacturing under control. And the TMSC, Taiwan Manufacturing Semiconductor, if that's what you call it, company, is one of those companies that has set up shop in Arizona. And for the record, they're going to get $15 billion of the entitlement money if they do things right. But they're going to spend like $47 billion. I don't. My numbers could be off, but the whole point is they're very intrigued to come here because they see the opportunity to cash in on the government's free monies to set up shop and help them to expand their business. Well, right now they're undergoing serious challenges in Arizona. They don't have enough workers that are qualified workers to be building the manufacturing facility. So the company from Taiwan has raised their hand and said, why don't we bring some of our people over to your country to help get the factory built? And immediately the union members are like, no way in hell are you bringing your people's country to overtake our jobs. So there's already a major, butting heads of the Taiwan manufacturing company with the American union representatives and union workers that want nothing to do with any help from this overseas company with their overseas personnel to come here and try to get the factory up and going faster. So already there's what's being talked about, which I'm sure anybody here watch my channels will be like, oh yeah, we know more. How this is all going to play out. There's not enough qualified individuals that know how to do this at this moment to be able to help build this factory. So it's going to be a slow process to get this built because of the unions got the grab hold. So there you go. I mean, so where does that all play out down the road? I think so many people here all agree that this is going to be such an expensive manufacturing company that we're going to be circumvented by the foreign companies that will just they're going to be laughing at us because they're going to be able to continue to build what they're building and even mark their stuff up, and they'll still undercut this American country's labor costs by leaps and bounds. So there's no way it's going to be a worldwide competitive product. And so then here's another one. I've been talking about U.S. Steel. So this Jim Broussard, who has a company called like Amherst, or I can't think of the name right off the tip of my tongue without me looking it up. But this Jim Broussard, who was a long shot of maybe buying out U.S. Steel over Cleveland Cliffs, well, yesterday he abruptly has reneged on his deal, and he has point blank said he's out because he thinks that the Cleveland Cliffs union would be a better fit for the U.S. Steel union. So he already knows. He already knows that if he was to try to take over U.S. Steel, his biggest challenge is going to be these union members, because already union members are very unhappy that U.S. Steel has already built another plant somewhere in Arkansas or Texas or some other part of the country, and it's non-union people. So he's already raising his hand like, you know what? There's no way I'm going to be able to fight these union workers, because he saw instantly how the union workers are already fighting U.S. Steel to sell the business to a non-union company. So what does that radiate? Expensive. Unions create very expensive labor, which is very challenging. What's going on right now with the United Auto Workers? It's September. They're supposed to come to the table and come to agreement of what's going to happen. If they don't, then there's going to be plants idled to stop the production of cars again. What does that do to the car market? And we know it does to the car market. Be so lucky to get one. In all reality, these car dealers would be the best damn thing that could happen for them because the inventories is back to the doom and gloom. I mean, apparently the inventories, if you look around, I talked about how yesterday, the day before, about how there's 1,200 F-150 trucks sitting on the lot within a 50-mile radius. So you can definitely see it. When I drive around, you can definitely see how these car lots are definitely getting healthy again with certain manufacturers. Ford and Ram, Dodge, and Jeep seem to be the dominant, more healthy lots. General Motors, not so much. Toyota, not so much. Hyundai's been kicking butt the whole time, so I wouldn't even categorize them. They've always been ahead of the curve of everybody, it seems like. They've been very healthy in their inventories. Whole point is, I'm sure for a lot of these dealers in the automotive manufacturing, they're thinking to themselves, well, here we go. We're overproducing product again. And why? We just have to keep these union people employed. And that's a whole other variable that just cracks me up about the guy named Jim Farley that's got a huge union workforce, and he thinks he's going to moderate and control the manufacturing where he idles down all these vehicles and to try to play the game and be so lucky to get a vehicle while he has all these idled workers. It's costing him a bloody fortune. It's not going to happen. What's really interesting is that new Mustang GTD, that's all the talk of town right now with the journalists and everybody else of the new generation dark horse Ford Mustang that's been turned into the supercar. And if you look at the design of that car, it is phenomenal of what they've done, the entry in that car. $300,000, be so lucky to get one, guaranteed it'd be $500,000. There'd be $100,000, $200,000 markup in that car, guaranteed. The dealers that get them, it's the rich man of the rich man's, world that will end up being able to buy these. But hey, if you invested in Navita stock, I mean, sincerely, your investment just in the last year has tripled. That company's stock has tripled. The CEO of Navita, that's the artificial intelligence the semiconductor chip manufacturer that's ahead by leaps and bounds of anybody else that can have this capability to have these computers turn into humans. And the CEO, this guy, it's like Jensen Hugen, I think, or something. Jensen Hugen, Huagen or something. His value right now is $46 billion. He has only 3% of the stock of the company, but he's worth $46 billion. Wow. Just incredible. It's just incredible, the wealth that these select individuals in the world are accumulating from being in these positions of these big companies. It's just beyond believable. Look at the CEO or the CFO of Tesla that just recently left and basically walked away with like $980 million. And he probably has stock options too still. So that guy's probably worth, in all reality, billions of dollars. That was just a compensation, I guess, that he earned or something. I'm not real, clear on that for the Elon man. The right people hang out with Elon, you can make a lot of money. The right people invested in Tesla, a lot of people made a lot of money. So you got to give him credit that he does know how to enrich others. That's why a lot of people love him. Yeah, so talking about the artificial intelligence, talking about being doomed. Wow. I mean, talk about being doomed. So here's a whole other ballgame. Very interesting article I read this morning on how between OpenAI, ChatGPT, Microsoft, there's numerous companies right now that are getting into the artificial intelligence. And what's going on is there's right now major legal consequences as I speak that are now starting to partake in the judicial system, the governing bodies of this country. They're going to have to start really trying to figure out how to manage this artificial intelligence. So keep in mind, you're only talking just last fall, 2022, that artificial intelligence was really opened back up. It was idle for a while because they couldn't get a handle on it. And so it really has not even been a year, but just in the, I would say, last 8 months time frame, 9, 10, the people that are suing artificial intelligence companies is already starting to happen, because these creators of this artificial intelligence that are feeding all this information are stealing critical information and data from others to create their content. So already there's a comedian lady that's suing them for stealing her book, in her words, in her eyes. She made a book, and somebody basically took that book and recreated it in a different format, and now that's something that's being sold, and her book isn't really being talked about. So there's one issue. And then Getty Images, or some major company that has all these photos that you can, copy and paste and make fun of people and make jokes and all the entertainment you get out of these forums and whatever else. They're now suing artificial intelligence because a company is taking all of their images without approval to them, and they're using them and feeding them for this generative pre-trained transformer. So right now, just we're in the very early stages of this artificial intelligence, and it's already a major challenge for people that feel like they're having their intellectual property and everything else stolen from them. And even another thing is going on is that the misinformation. So there's like a law that protects, I guess, media and tech companies in some aspects of misinformation. But they're saying now with this artificial intelligence, people are deliberately feeding devious and misled information, and there should be consequences for it. So we already know that with the upcoming election next year, that the misinformation could be rampant like never seen before, for an agenda to enrich certain individuals, to put others in power, through just total generative pre-trained chat GPT, artificial intelligence training that will be so realistic to so many people that it's not true. And that's what's already going on. People are entering their name, high profile people are already being mislabeled of things that they never even did. I mean, so this is deep stuff. You talk about, wow, the doom and gloom. I mean, even for you and I. Somebody could feed my channel and start saying that I'm a propaganda person, spreading hate of this and hate of that, and they could twist my whole channel, and all of a sudden, for me, I'm being called out for my video time and my conversations that is totally twisted, but it's so realistic to others, and how they changed what I said in a video. They took my video and they literally changed, and I started mouthing off and saying bad things about individuals. It's just, this is where we are. It's really bad, and that's the concern. And so truly, the doom and gloom, I mean, the fake information, the fake news of somebody creating content that makes something look so real, that's going on in your local neighborhood, but it's not, but you can't get access to figure out what really is happening. I mean, it's sad of where it's going to go. And that's the sad part, that's how I started my conversations, the doom and gloom. It seems that's what really gets people's attention, is the failures of others, the loss of others, the make fun of others, and in the failure of others. That's what drives people's total fixation. Is that they're, I see that, I know that, I mean, that's just who we are, unfortunately, and how we're made up, and how we get, I guess, in some ways, the deep satisfaction that, because maybe you feel like you're not better than that person, but then that person fails, and then you get satisfaction out of that. I mean, what's the wealth of others do to others? I mean, isn't that a huge challenge? Is that, people are very extremely wealthy. They always, in some ways, seem to belittle people. I'm not saying all wealthy people do, but in so many ways. Look at Dan Snyder. Thank goodness that guy is gone from the Washington Commanders. Jesus Christ, the Washington Redskins. Thank goodness that guy. Talk about an individual that was it's just, in my eyes, never met him personally, but just from day one, from reading where that guy came from, and how he operates and what he did to others. And everybody left the Washington Redskins to look like an idiot. Does anybody remember Joe Gibbs coming back to coach the Washington Redskins? I mean, my thoughts were, Joe, don't do it. You know, this guy Dan's in desperation, and he's got a terrible organization. You're going to come back, and you think you're going to be able to repeat what you did with John Kent Cook? Yeah, by the time Joe Gibbs left the Washington Redskins, he looked like a failure. He looked like he didn't know what he's doing. How many stories? I can share with you so many stories of talented people coming to the Washington Redskins. And by the time they left that organization, they looked like fools. They looked like they didn't have a clue what they were doing. And I think, wow. I mean, so the doom and gloom, right? And I think to myself, I've heard 3 years now, but I don't watch his channel. The guy, Dan the Man out of California, man, he's been talking like doom and gloom now for 3 solid years. I mean, so is it really upon our doorstep, the doom and gloom? I mean, once again, after watching the GOP primaries last night, I kind of turned off the TV and I thought, you know what? Wow, we're doomed. And somebody watched my channel, well, you know, what do you mean? Why do you think we're doomed? Well, you got Donald Trump, who's on his own platform, who is still pulling incredible strong numbers. And then you got all these other characters up there last night that are trying to get in to be the choice of the GOP nomination, which is just incredible. We're so close to 2024. If it turns into the whole next year of the real deal starts to show who's going to run for president. And I just think to myself, here's the challenge. I mean, for Donald Trump, he definitely has a strong hold in the GOP party, but at the same time, he doesn't. Because there's so many people that have been turned off by him, but yet there's so many that still are turned on by him. But it's the same old story. The media machine, the technocrats have destroyed Donald Trump. They have made so many people hate that guy and so many people not want him to be president again. That's the GOP's biggest challenge, is that how is Donald Trump going to attract the Democratic liberal mindset to vote for him if he is the nominee to run for president again? And so many people don't want to see Joe Biden and Donald Trump be the two candidates to run for presidency again. So I think, wow. I mean, how do you get the message across to the other side of the table that this country is in the doom mode? I mean, we've had this incredible so-called prosperity, the government handing out money like never seen. Is anybody connecting the dots? We went through a pandemic where this government handed out money like never ever seen. Now we've got a new administration that has the Inflation Reduction Act that's handing out money to business like never ever seen. So, but we're now witnessing potentially the money's dried up from all the handout to the individuals and businesses for the pandemic. And it's possibly starting to show now more than ever that the consumers have run out of gas. And I think to myself, what will be the transition time and, what will be the time frame for all this give out these billions of dollars to businesses to set up shop and manufacturing things here in this country, that in the end will be a total failure. And that's where we are. We're in the doom. I mean, to me, the ice age is doomed because all of these major leaders have been convinced that the ice age is not the future by any means of the transportation of the world for the future. So the ice age is definitely doomed. It's definitely going to be a bye-bye at some point. Not tomorrow, but you go in the next 10 to 20 years, it's definitely going to be doomed to be non-existent. And some people are like, that's radical. Right. Well, at the present moment of the powers to be in the world that are all older people, that, does the younger generation transition into the exact same mindset? I mean, sincerely, what's the younger generation's position of where today's policies are and what is going to be better for this country and the world? And between all the social media and all the technocrats, and the list goes on and on and on,
It's the constant green agenda, woke preaching, never seen ever in our lifetime. So, yeah, I'd have to say that the ice age is doomed because you just have too many hands in the pot that's trying to take advantage of all this money being handed out to change the direction of the transportation sector of our country. And and once again, I mean, it's just you think about this country, the infrastructure of this country of cheap labor. This is not the least expensive labor in the world. So how at the end of the day, of all these major manufacturers setting up shop here, are going to sustain the capability to manufacture things when other countries in this world aren't just going to sit back and let us dominate everything? You know, as their population and their economies go broke, it's not going to happen. And look at China. You could use China as a perfect example. I mean, there's so many ways you can look at China right now, but China is going through financial economic hardships. And they had their day of their boom and spending all that money, the government industrialization, which this is the Joe Biden exact same blueprint of what China did back in 2004 and 5. And he's following that exact same business plan in so many ways to enrich so many, to change the direction of what how this country operates. But here's yet China now sucking wind in so many aspects. Here's what I talked about the other day. I said China has the biggest population now of electric vehicles. Oh, but by the way, China has the most coal power plants and is burning the most coal ever in modern times. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Can you even imagine right now that you're the person that's pounding your fists that we have to have electric vehicles and this is going to save Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and at the same time behind your back there's a major coal plant that's energizing all these vehicles? And that's what China has done. China has grown by leaps and bounds through the coal power system. That's what they're burning up. And they're now buying oil from Russia dirt cheap like never seen before. I mean, does this make any? We're doomed. And the reason we're doomed because we have leaders of businesses and governing bodies that are presenting something that just isn't real. And it's just incredible that how you'll be tarnished like never seen before, that if you present these views that I'm presenting, that you'll be looked at like you're a fool, like Joe Gibbs. But here's the thing. I truly believe Dan Snyder is in so many ways the president of the United States right now. That at the end of the day, the failures are going to be bigger than the successes. Yeah, so we all doomed. After seeing last night's GOP primary and seeing where Donald Trump is, does the GOP take back the president of the United States? Whew, wow. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching my channel. Appreciate all the support. Hope everybody has a great day. And let's make it a positive thing, right? Let's create the positivity and not the negativity. We need that more than ever. So, God bless, stay safe, and what do we do next? Now we got to go to work.